What's going on, guys? It's your boy Burrow77 here with my main man, Brad Thomas. We're looking at Atalanta versus Brugge, and I told you guys last week, do not sleep on this Brugge club. They are fucking nasty, and we're only getting more value on their player props. I told you about Jangala. I told you about Tizzoli. I told you about Decipher. Bird even mentioned Onlike. I forget his name. I'll pull it up here in a second when we get to the player prop market. But this Bruges club is nasty. Now, are they nasty enough to go on the road and play Atalanta in Atalanta's brand spanking new state-of-the-art facility in front of this Atalanta home crowd where they are reigning Europa champs? They have a little bit of European pedigree. They have a good manager. But I am worried about this team without Lookman. They have looked suspect without Lookman. He is a major part of what they do. I think Bruges on the spread here at +1 is really good because I could very much see this going to extra time and PKs, because one thing Bruges does really, really well is they are able to defend and they are able to play for draws, especially on the road, almost kind of like, like a Juve or like an Inter. They have a very strong midfield. They play that 3-5-3 or 3-5-2 kind of deal. And I don't know, man. And it's not like they don't have pace. Like Atalanta leaves themselves open at the back. That's just what they do. Their philosophy is, we're going to score more goals than you. We're going to take more attempts than you. We're going to dominate the ball, but we're going to do it in your third. And when we turn it over, we're going to live with the fact that we got to chase back, and sometimes we're going to cough one up. And Bruges is perfectly capable of moving on the counter here. So I kind of like both teams to score. I definitely like this over 2.5. And I think Bruges is perfectly capable of getting one. But I could also maybe see them grinding out an extra time, forcing extra time or PKs with a 2-1 loss. I could maybe see them gutting out a 1-1 draw too. I know I said I like the over 2.5. It's hard for me not to back Atalanta to score twice at home here, and that's why they're -170. But I have a really tough time thinking Bruges can't score on the road, and I have a really tough time seeing this game stay at 1-1, but it's possible. I think I don't want to be in that situation where I'm backing Bruges on a draw at like +340 or Bruges on a draw no better at double chance at a +0.05, and then we get extra time added on in the 85th minute. Instead of it being 5 minutes left in the match, it's actually 17 minutes left in the match. So, I just don't want to have that sweat. I think the +1 is very playable, meaning that this game would need to go to extra time and or PKs for me to cash in regulation. I think the +1 is worth a look here at -110. And I know you can find a better number than that, because my odds shopping tool has removed all books except for DraftKings when it comes to Asian handicaps. So I didn't have time to manually shop this one around, but I know you can find a little bit better number than -110 out there.
Yeah, this match is interesting. And I'm going to talk about this one in BetUS as well. And this is pretty much what I'm going to say. I don't want to be in this situation where Atalanta come out here and they roll and I don't have a ticket on it. I was in the exact same situation when they're away from home. However, that was never a good bet. I don't think betting on Atalanta was ever a good bet, and I knew that the second I bet it. Sometimes you get drawn in. Bruges had gone through this rough patch. Every team goes through it, right? Goes through this rough patch domestically. It started about middle of January, and it kind of spilt over. They go up against Genk in league leaders, Genk in the cup match, pull out a nice result there, and looks like it tends to turn around. Well, then they parlayed that success into a really good match against Atalanta. Unlike Feyenoord, Bruges deserved every bit of that 3 points, that winner there. They deserve to be up on aggregate. So I can't come out here and say this Bruges team is gonna go out and get steamrolled. I went with Atalanta. I'm gonna trust Gasperini. A couple reasons here. Gasperini knows how to win in advance in these kind of matches. They've won 7 out of 12 home matches so far this season. Pretty good.
Yep.
Expected goal differential plus 0.9, which is almost plus 1. You have to remember that's at home. That's including 3 draws and 2 losses. To have almost a 1 goal differential, expected goal differential at home with 5 losses or 5 where you're not getting
non-wins.
Non-wins, yeah, 5 non-wins where you're not gaining anything to that goal differential. It was enough value for me to take against the Belgium side. Granted, this is a good Belgium side. It's just the numbers justified it. But listen, if Bruges come out, they cover the 1 or they win this match or it comes in a draw, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm trusting Gasperini in this one.
Yeah, and look, Gasperini is a very good manager. He's very tested in Europe. Obviously, they're the reigning Europa champs. Beat a Leverkusen team that was going for an undefeated triple. So I can't take anything away from him there. My big thing is, we'll talk about it here now that we have we can get into player props too, is just this team without Lookman lacks a little bit of an identity. Pasalic just isn't really that guy. And he's especially not that guy this year. He looked a lot better last year, but he's got I went back and looked at, the historical data. It's like he runs hot one year and then he runs cold the next. He runs hot, he runs cold. This just seems to kind of be his cold cycle.
Yeah.
But I love this Atalanta midfield, and I think there's a bunch of value in this Atalanta midfield. I mentioned last week with Nick and Leg that I was worried about Zappacosta getting some volume with Posh behind him.
Yeah.
It didn't end up mattering because they both got what I needed out of them. Posh to take a single shot at plus money was disrespectful. I don't think we're going to get that kind of number here, especially at home. And Zappacosta, he's just going to keep jacking, dude.
Yeah.
He kind of default becomes the wing here because Retegui plays so much centrally, and he needs to. I do like the CDK revenge angle at home. I know it didn't cash for us last time, but CDK's been in a little bit of a cold spell. I'll take CDK to score or assist. No problem here, especially if it's a plus number. But as far as the Bruges side goes, Tizolis is plus money for a shot on target again. He obviously scored last game. Jungala is plus money for a shot on target again. I got to take that. Oyendike, number 15 here in the midfield. Bird had him for a shot at plus money. He got a shot on target. I think he took 2 shots. Decipher, left back, who is, his game's not like Theo, or isn't a direct comp to Theo Hernandez, but he's going to bomb forward and he's going to get involved in that offense at left back. So I always take Decipher for a shot at plus money. I like him for a shot on target. He occasionally takes PKs. I don't think he will because he didn't in that late game situation, even when Tizolis and Jungala were off the field. So, I'm not banking on him to take a PK, but he takes all their free kicks and he's nasty with them. So I could see him maybe netting a goal direct from free kick if he really wants it and if he's in his bag that day. But there's a ton of value on guys just to do one thing here on Bruges. And that's my favorite bet. When I just need a guy to put one shot on target or to take a single shot, that's my favorite play is straight bets on guys at plus money to do one thing. In a game, look, they don't need goals here on aggregate, but you're on the road at Atalanta. You got to think you got to score to be in this game.
The interesting thing about the player props in this match is all of the value is on Bruges players and not Atalanta. So when I was looking through all the Atalanta players, every player is up at least 0.5 more than their typical shot prop. Yes, you are going to get a little bit more aggressive Atalanta side, but one thing that you really need to know, I think that's really important for anybody listening, is if it's not working, Gasperini's making changes.
Yup.
You could have a guy where you need 4 shots in Rutegi, and he's sitting at 3 and comes out, gets yanked because it's not working. They haven't scored yet. Vice versa. If Atalanta go up 2, let's say score 2 early, you're toast. Gasperini's pulling that plug. So I think the Bruges props are the only ones. I actually passed. I couldn't find a prop here that I liked, that I was going to get down with. I actually think I'm going to take this match kind of cautious and just play it live. The only live angle I had on this one was I was going to, like, if Bruges score first, I was going to take Atalanta double chance. It's just zero reason not to be on Atalanta double chance when Bruges would be up 2 on aggregate away from home. Because at that point, even if it's late, Bruges do not care if they concede 1 late in the game and it becomes a draw. First half corner handicap is always good for Atalanta in a plus situation. Basically what I mean, where I think they're going to have more than 55% of the possession.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hella juiced. And I mean, corners are something you don't want to take super juiced pregame, because you're not, anything could happen. It could change that. That's more of a live bet, but that's kind of how I see this from a prop perspective.
I like it. I'm going to continue to bet Atalanta's midfield because they have shooters at all 4 positions here. Zappacosta's going to let it fly. Ederson's Brazilian as fuck. We know he loves to jack from outside the box. He's scored banger goals from outside the box and just inside the box. Bellanova is a low-key, like, guy who's not going to have a lot of volume, but when he takes a shot, he makes it count. So you can get Bellanova for a shot on target at like plus 190, plus 210 neighborhood. I love that. Ederson, like, the problem is we got a bunch of value that we cashed in a ton on Atalanta guys just to take a single shot away at Bruges. We're not going to see that in the reverse fixture here at home. So you're going to have to be a little bit more careful. I'm not super looking to climb the ladder on a bunch of these guys' shots because, again, I like taking guys who are targets on set pieces. I like guys to be able to do one thing. And as Brad was saying, if Atalanta is going to rack up a ton of corners, which they should at home, you know, their set piece guys like Posh are going to come down in price. He's minus 155 to take a shot. We were getting him at plus 130 to take a shot last game. You know, Bellanova's minus 200 to take a shot. We got him at a plus number last game. But Ederson to put a shot on target, Bellanova to put a shot on target, Zappacosta to take 2 shots, Posh to take a shot, all nice parlay pieces for me. I am going to get involved in the CDK revenge narrative for to score or assist. And I just, it's really hard to talk me out of dipping back into the Retegui well because he's Serie A's leading goal scorer. So if you're going to give me Retegui at plus 110 at home, I'm going to take it. Like, I just have to.
No, I'm good on this one. This is, listen, and I think I've been pretty by doing this, like, with Atalanta pretty much all season. Is there a team I don't do too much pregame? They don't do too much pregame. They're just, I mean, maybe it might be my, and I'm not even saying it's my bugaboo team, but I think they just make so many changes where the style that I bet in gets screwed if I'm too deep in them.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're looking at guys who to take 3 or 4 shots, especially, you know, Retegui, CDK, Pasalic, stuff like that. Like, yeah, you're right. Gasperini will make changes if things aren't working. This is an elimination game at home in their building, and they have depth. That's what happens when you win Europa and you have money to spend and you're a legit Scudetto challenger. You have the money to spend to go out and get depth for this exact reason. So, I'm right there with you. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of taking Atalanta. They're at home. They are the more talented side. But this Bruges club is no joke. They might be a little bit more conservative here away from home. I might get burned on some of their props, but listen, the numbers are there. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the flyer on Jugala, Tazolis, and Decipher especially. Those are my guys. That's who I like from Bruges. And Bruges isn't a pushover. They're not going to go quietly because they have a lot to play for. They have a lot of pride, and they are a good team. I was the only guy who liked Brugge, and I want to be clear, it's different on the road. Brugge in their building is a completely different team.
Yep.
Because you're at home, you're in Belgium, crowd's hostile. It's got a whole different energy when you're on the road at Atalanta. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not necessarily picking a side in this one. Or yeah, you know what? Go ahead. I'm gonna take Brugge on the +1. I'm gonna take
Nice.
Brugge on the +1.
Stand on it, bro. I freaking love that. Stand on it.
Yup. So give me Brugge on the +1. I'm gonna get involved in Brugge player props here. Give me CDK on the to score assist, and yeah, check me out on Twitter. Links to join the Discords are down here in the description. Mine's $15 a month. I do a show every week with Flash on Fridays at 7 p.m. that is available through Dub Club as well. Brad has his Discord. I will put all of those links down here below, and we will be back to talk Bayern versus Celtic here shortly. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you at the window. We outside!